Hey everyone, Jerry here, Balance Community. Today we're going to look at the BC Starter Kit and how to set it up. Let's jump right in. Alright, to start things off, I'll just kind of show you what comes with the kit. First you get 20 meters of webbing with a stone loop on one end and a protective sleeve on the webbing, a pair of our classic Tree Pro, a 2-meter adjustable anchor sling, 2 carabiners, and 1 line locker ring. And then optionally, if you wanted to get some of the upgrades, we have our static anchor upgrade kit, which comes with a sling and a shackle. The simple primitive multiplier, which is 2 carabiners and a line locker ring. And the Triload Prevention Kit, which is a rigging ring and a carabiner. So let's get into how we're going to set this up. First, we're going to rig the non-tensioning end of this slack line. So you're going to want to find yourself a nice healthy tree that has about 12 inches of diameter at the height you want to rig it. And the height you choose to rig your line depends on the length and how comfortable you are with a lot of sag in the line. Typically, I recommend about thigh to hip height for a shorter gap. And as you get longer and longer, increase the height as you go. So you're going to need one of your tree pros and your slackline webbing, the end with the sewn loop on it. First, wrap your tree with your tree pro at the height you want to rig your line at. And then take your sewn loop end and pass it through the black straps on your tree pro, all the way around the tree. And now we're going to pass the other end of the slack line through that loop. This is called a girth hitch. Pull it all the way through and position that protective sleeve that's on the webbing right at that cinch point. It is a little tight, so it might be kind of difficult to position. There you go. Basically, that protects the webbing at that critical pinch point on the line. And so there we have it. That's the static anchor. And now we're going to go rig the tensioning side. If you opted to get the static anchor upgrade kit, there's a much faster and easier way to set up this anchor. You're going to want to grab that extra sling and the shackle that came with the kit. And instead of wrapping our webbing around the tree, we're going to wrap the sling. Pass it through the black straps once again. And then you'll notice in these red anchor slings that there are these slots, basically holes that go through the webbing from side to side. You're going to want to choose 2 of those to pass the shackle through. And try to bring the shackle as close to the tree as you can, as that will minimize the stretch in the anchor sling. Just like that. And then take your sewn loop. I'm just using the other end of this slack line for demonstration purposes, and put it right there on that shackle. Not only is that a much easier setup, but you also gain all this length in your webbing that can now be a longer line. So now let's proceed to the tensioning end of the slack line. So once again, you're going to want to find a nice sturdy tree with about 12 inches of diameter at the height you want to rig it. And that's, an adequate distance from the other side. For the starter kit, that means about 15 meters maximum between the 2 trees. And so we're going to take our second tree pro and wrap it around the tree, roughly at the same height as the other side to keep your line level. And then you're going to take your red anchor sling, pass it around the tree, through the black straps, just like we did on the other side. And now you're going to want to get the hardware, take one of the carabiners, and you'll find that these slings have slots in them going through. And so you're going to clip one on one strand, and then bring that other strand, find another slot, and clip it to the carabiner also. If you've opted to get the Triload Prevention Kit, you're going to need those pieces right now. And so you'll notice for this attachment here, this carabiner is being tri-loaded. It's got 3 directions of pull once the slack line is attached here. And that can be pretty bad for the carabiners. And so instead of clipping it like that, we're going to take our rigging ring, unclip one end there, pass the other strand through the rigging ring, and then join the 2 ends. Again, you want to get the ring as close to the tree as possible. And so choose a slot that makes that a reality. We could have gone a little bit closer, but that's fine. And so now this is your rigging point. And you're going to use that second carabiner, and that's going to be used to build your tensioning system. Now we need to build the line locker. So grab your webbing and pull it taut, making sure that it's flat going to the other anchor. And about 10 to 15% of the whole gap length here, which I got about 10 meters here, and so I'll need about 1 meter distance between me and the tree. We're going to build a line locker. And so you're going to need your second carabiner and the line locker ring for this. So first, form a bight in the webbing, which is just a fold with the walking strand on top, and pass that bight through the line locker ring, and then wrap it down and back through the same direction. And that bight that you've passed through, there's the loop, clip the carabiner there. And try to clip it so that the gate opens on the same side as the carabiner on your anchor there. That'll make building your tensioning system a lot easier. And so now we're going to build the tensioning system. To build your tensioning system, you're going to take the tail from your line locker, work it back towards the anchor, and then go up through this carabiner. So the tail's now on the top. You're going to run it back to that carabiner at the line locker and go down that carabiner so that the tail's on the bottom. And then back again to the carabiner at the anchor and go up once more, but tuck this strand underneath the previous one. And then again, once more, back to the tensioning or the line locker carabiner and go down through that one, again tucking it underneath. And that tuck is what holds tension when you pull here. The previous strand is pushing down on this one, causing a friction lock. And that's called the primitive system. And so now we just pull here until our line is tight enough. And then we can tie a little tie off. What I like to do is form a bight, go up through that carabiner, and pull a good amount. And then just tie a couple half hitches, or even just one half hitch. And once that's good, you are ready to walk your slackline. If you have decided to get the simple primitive multiplier kit, you're going to need those components now, which is a line locker and 2 carabiners. So first, take one carabiner and clip it to the tails. You need to clip both tails here of your anchor sling coming off of that carabiner at the tensioning anchor. And again, try to have the gate opening on the same side as these other ones. And then we're going to build a line locker on this tail here. Pass the bite through, go around, pass it through the same direction again. And then clip your second carabiner there. So we could probably try to work that closer there, but we'll continue on just to demonstrate. So now we're going to take the tail coming from this line locker, go up this carabiner, and down this one. So that essentially triples how much tension we can put on the line. Because when we pull here, it's applying 3 times what we're pulling to that original tail that we were pulling on, which is very cool. It's mostly great for lowering your anchors or setting up longer lines. And so you just keep pulling here until these 2 beaters collapse. You'll have to unclip this and then redo this line locker up here to reset it. Pull again until they collapse, reset the line locker until you're at your desired tension. And that pretty much covers how you rig the BC Starter Slackline Kit. Now let's go over how to derig it. Now that you're done slacklining, it's time to take down the BC Starter Slackline Kit. So first, undo your tail tie off here. And you can undo this first tuck here by taking the tail and pulling it on this side. Should come out relatively easily. Don't try to open this gate while your line is still under tension because it can damage the carabiners. Same on this side. And so now to undo this one, you're going to want to see there's going to be a side that has, oops, my bad, that has a little bit of webbing exposed on the edge, and you're going to want to pull it towards that direction. It'll make it easier to pop out. And so for me, it's popping out a little bit on my side, and so I'm going to pull it from over here. If I pull it, untuck it, there we go, the tension's off. So when you're doing that, be aware that as soon as that strand comes out from under the previous strand, all the tension is going to come off that slack line. And so if you have a lot of tension on this line, it can be kind of dangerous, so be prepared. Leave a lot of distance between your hands and the hardware in case the webbing wants to get sucked back in and your hands don't get caught in there. So now you can just disassemble everything and pack it away however you'd like. Yeah, if you got any questions, feel free to ask them below. Thanks for watching and enjoy your slackline.